all the time. But I'm going to shut up because we need to.
Oh no, we're ready. We're ready. Good morning, good people. You're watching Bruddy Entertainment. I am joined with the lovely Nikki New, the lovely Kitty. We've all, I think we've all had quite early nights, and we've all woken up to this crazy news of Charlie Kirk shooting. Let's get some reaction. Nikki, start with you, sir.
Oh, just saying to Kitty before we started there, Brad, thank you for having me on, by the way, and nice to see you too as well, Kitty. It's shocking, mate. You know, haven't got a TV at the moment. I've not had a TV since the start of the year, right, when I wanted to focus on my music. So I'm relying on internet really for entertainment. So after I do all my work in that evening, I'll have a look, and then certain things start coming up on my internet. I'm not really into all the debates that are going on. However, you can't avoid them, so I watch them just to pay an interest. And he's been coming up on my social media for quite a while now. And occasionally, when I'm bored, Brad and Kitty, I will watch his stuff and think, "Oh, this is a nice debate. There's all these young people there. They're getting to have a chat. He's bringing out their confidence." I used to teach young people, 7 to 18-year-olds, for 20 years, and part of my thing was trying to get them to talk, trying to get them to have a conversation. So I was watching him for that, and I am shocked, man. I am shocked. Kitty, Brad, how are you, man?
Over to you, Kitty.
What's happened, man?
I obviously, before I fell asleep, I heard the news that he'd been shot, and I put a post out saying that, you know, obviously I'm sending prayers and so on to his family, and that he survives. And obviously I've woken up this morning to the news that he didn't. Charlie Kirk, I didn't agree with 90% of what he said. I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with his stance on abortion. I didn't agree on his stance on guns. I didn't agree. But what I did agree with was his ability to get people talking, his ability to get the young to understand that you can debate and you can disagree and you can walk away and have a conversation about life with that same person. Because even though you've just disagreed, you could have a normal conversation about football or something, you know, something like that. It doesn't matter if you disagree. It's okay to disagree. And he had this ability to teach the young that it's okay to disagree. And yes, there were people that really, really disliked him. And I am absolutely disgusted at the people that are celebrating his death. It's abhorrent. It's
He's not deserving of that at all. He's like he's not deserving of getting shot or anything like that for just doing a job.
All he's done is give his opinion and encouraged the young to give their opinions. Whether he agreed with their opinions or not, it didn't matter. What he did was he taught them to debate. He taught them to have a conversation that you could go back and forth. And then, like I say, at the end, you can walk away and say, we'll agree to disagree. Or maybe you've changed my mind a little bit. Or maybe I agree a little bit more. Or maybe I understand the subject a little bit more.
There's a lot of hate though, Kitty, out there, right? Even if you look at someone like that Charlie VH or whatever his name is, VH, yeah.
Charlie VH, yeah.
Is he? You know, will someone go for him? Right? He's got bodyguards now, right? And he's got his own opinions because I thought in England you're allowed to have a chat about stuff. You know, I thought in our society we can have a chat about stuff, and I thought in their society, you freedom of speech is like a massive thing, isn't it? In their society as well, but people are unhinged out there over things that they feel strongly about.
Unhinged with guns.
That's it.
With guns as well. And I don't know if you two know about Utah, but Utah is one of the few states where you don't need a permit to carry a gun. So anyone can carry a gun in Utah, which is where the incident happened. And from my understanding, the person who shot him is still on the run.
Yes. They thought they had him, but they haven't.
Yeah.
And it wasn't him. But I mean, there are people saying how ironic that he was such a big advocate of guns.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I don't agree with it.
I think the biggest one that I've seen so far is there's a video of Charlie Kirk, where he says, to protect the Second Amendment right to bear arms, unfortunately, some people there will be casualties of gun violence. There is a video of him saying that, and someone's put "this aged well," This, like, it's not the right time to be doing like I told you so's and stuff like that. Me reacting to this, shocking, man. I was very emotional earlier seeing that. It's the first thing I saw all on X, like, just everything was just watching him getting shot. And like you said, Kitty, I don't agree with most of what he says, but I admired him in the sense of how he was able to debate people. He knew his stuff, like, and he was always willing to have that conversation, have a chat. The problem is now, like, I'm watching all these reactions in America, and I'm hearing these people on the far left. They're like, "Oh yeah, ha 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 ha," laughing at him. There's emojis and everything like that, and I just sit back here and I say to myself, have they, like, the people in charge that want us all divided and fighting against each other? They have officially won.
Oh
They
God.
have won, because it's got to the point where you know people are cheering the fact that someone got killed in front of his, because they don't believe, in front of his wife and children. They're never going to know their dad anymore. Like, they'll probably see him, and the memory that they'll have is seeing his, like, the way evil kids are as well,
Yeah.
especially being how political America is. Unfortunately, he won't be the children won't be able to hide away from that. They'll be like, "Oh, look at your dad." Like, unfortunately, that's the evilness that's out there in this day and age. But people are so divided that it's got to that stage. People are divided. They're angry. There's mental health. There's all sorts of
Brad,
things going on. Yep,
someone asked a question just before he got shot,
I heard
and the
it. Yeah.
question was something like, "This is what I saw on the BBC with a couple of girls who were interviewed." Yeah, the question just before he got shot was something like, "How many transgender people have killed people with a gun?" Or it was something along those sorts of lines. And then literally just after that, he got shot. Now, I don't want to sit here and insinuate anything. I'm only repeating what I saw on the BBC. But people feel strongly about things these days, man. People are unhinged, man.
This is
They're
the thing.
divided.
Yeah.
People are divided. You're right, Brad.
Especially the trans debate thing that's going on in America. Like, no one agrees with the pushing it on the children parts of it. But whether we like it or not, guys, the trans community is here to stay. They've always been here. They've always been here, and they always will be here. These Americans that have so much to say about trans, these Europeans, you see them, "Oh, look at these trans this, trans that." They're the ones going to Thailand. What do you think they're going to Thailand to do?
Yeah. I
What do
totally.
you think? What do you think they're going to Thailand to do? They go there to sleep with ladyboys. That's what they go to do, and it's all Europeans and Americans that go to do it. Like, so when you've got people that are so, like, the way Charlie Kirk, the way he was debating with the trans debates and stuff like that, it was very much, you have a mental illness, like, this isn't right, there's something wrong with you. And when you have people like, when it's easy, we can say, "Oh yeah, have your opinion on stuff," but you don't know what people are going through and when you have a massive audience. Like, the whole thing is, like, it feels like the trans community is getting shitted on constantly,
Yeah.
constantly, constantly, and they're at a point where they're not playing. They're not playing, like, And the problem is, we all know, if there's people going through hell, going through shit in America, in this country. Even if you've got nothing, you can have a pot. You can't have you can have a pot. You might not have a pot to piss in. You might not have nothing, but you can call up you can call up your doctor and say, "Look, I'm struggling. I need to speak to someone ASAP." Like, in America, they don't have that. They don't have the basic free healthcare. I hear all these people saying, "Oh, we need to be more like America," and then give everyone guns.
No.
Imagine when you're feeling at your worst, the worst, feeling resentful, feeling horrible. Imagine having the thought of, you can buy a rifle and go take your anger out on whoever you wanted to. That's the power that they're giving these people, and you just can't do it. I'm
No.
sorry, people are going to get shot.
No.
And how many, like, after one school shooting, after two school shootings, it's a weekly or a monthly or a daily occurrence where someone is going to go into a school and start shooting kids. But they're so hell-bent on, "We need to hold our guns."
No.
Wasn't it a library recently where that kid walked into a library, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Is it like some sort of Jewish sort of thing, wasn't it?
But then you say that, brother, it's only changes in this society when it's knives, right? Because obviously knife crime is soaring. Yeah, we have a
Yeah, for
similar
sure, for sure.
thing with knives. It's in the similar division, and it worries me that you say about the trans community. When I see them online, they're gung ho in defending themselves. So I
Yeah.
think they feel like maybe
Com-
they're untouchable,
commercial
right?
break.
Which is
Hold the show for me. I got a delivery, guys.
Yeah.
You look go. You look go.
Yeah, go on,
you
carry
know, I sometimes I get the impression, Kitty, that that community feel like they're untouchable because I see them doing stuff like shoving people, pushing people, saying detrimental things to people, which is hi from Australia lawyer. Post a link, please. Someone says there.
post a link. I don't know.
Post a link, please. For what?
I
For
What?
don't
what?
know, maybe the incident or whatever. I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm not posting a link.
No,
Go. I'm not doing that.
no.
No,
Maybe
I,
there. If you're referring to something someone said, and you feel like someone's quoted something, then say what you think. Say what we said, and then obviously we could find it.
I totally agree with you, Nikki. I think that the trans community have got this. It's almost like they think they've got some sort of moral high ground where they'll shout at people for wrong pronouns, they'll shout at people for mislabeling them. I do agree with that. My argument is this: if you are trans and I can see that you're trans or you're what we call passable, I'm not going to misgender you. I wouldn't do it out of hate or I would go up to someone and say and she and her or whatever if the person looks like a woman. If you look like a man and I accidentally call you him, you can't shout at me because I am just looking at you. And unfortunately, the trans community seem to think that as long as you wear something pink, you must be labelled as a she or a her or they or them. And that's where I get my argument with the trans. I'm only going by what I'm looking at. I
but
have
why are they so brave, Kitty? What I don't understand is like why are they so quick to swing at people and push people and incite violence? Because I tell you what, where I come from, I'm not a violent person yet at all, Kitty. I'm very gentle, but where I come from, there's a few nutters where I grew up with where I think if we was in this generation, I dread to think what would happen if they were put in that position. Because it could be flying headbutts, it could be all sorts. Because they wouldn't just stand there and have themselves abused like that.
no.
I don't care, Kitty, myself. Like I don't really care about whatever people want to do. But do you understand my point?
I
They're inciting fighting and stuff like that all the time.
I've been in front of trans people, and I've got a daughter with autism, right? And she will just say what she sees. There was a person in Starbucks, and she said the man over there, and it was obviously that the person was trans. And my first reaction was to literally turn and apologize to the person. And I said, please understand, my daughter is autistic and she just says what she sees. I was very lucky in the sense that the person went, it's fine. I get it. Don't worry. And I went, I'm so sorry. So sorry. And I had a laugh and a joke. I apologized and I couldn't be more apologetic. There are some that would have taken what my daughter said and raged.
Yeah.
There are those. So I am not saying all the trans community. I'm saying there are a small minority of the trans community that are very, very angry that they're being mislabeled or they're not being given the platform that they deserve. We have to tolerate each other. And I've said this word.
Yeah, but it seems to work one way though, Kitty. That's what I'm saying. It seems to work one way.
It does. And at the moment it does. I'm afraid that the left is pushing we are being divided, like Brudsy and you and I have said, we are being divided. We are being told that this is the left and this is the right, and you can be one or the other. When there are so many of us that are so down the middle, we don't care what you want to be called, we'll call it you. That we are those that we just don't want immigrants coming into the country because we don't know who you are and you're dangerous. There are those people that are in the middle, but apparently we've just got to be either left or right. And I'm afraid
But the left seem to be able to speak and the right are not allowed to speak. Otherwise, they get gunned down in the neck in front of people.
this is the thing. This is,
So where I don't understand it, Kitty, right? Why are they not allowed to speak on the right?
you go back to the left in the 1960s, and the left back then was your Martin Luther Kings. and Malcolm X. So it's either side. If you say too much, you're going to get ended. And that's where it's so dangerous. But I always thought that Charlie was so encouraging to people to say what you feel and not get that angry with it. He used humor at times as well, which I think is a great tool to use. He was very, 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 very funny, and he could, at the end of the day, it is just a discussion, and that's all it is. But to gun a man down in front of his wife and children, and then to celebrate, and then to go on his wife's post and comment about how they're glad she hasn't got a husband, and how they're glad her children don't have a father anymore, is disgusting. It's abhorrent. And if anybody did it to you, you'd be the first ones to stand up and scream, they've gone against my rights.
These are young. What I will say, Kitty, as well, yeah, is their age. Mentally, I worry about their age, because if anyone wants to turn around and tell me by 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, they're a grounded person making sensible decisions, I was foolish when I was that age, and I'm glad. Right? I was mucking around. I was having a good time. I was partying. I had no care in the world. I was doing this. I was going here. I was going there. I was doing this. There was people at that age I remember that was unhinged, man.
Yeah.
And I think the internet now makes them even more unhinged because of the divide that you're talking about, both there and looking at all these things, and it's making people unhinged. Like even when I was doing that show, when I was reviewing people's music, I swear people hated me so much they would have actually killed me over that as well.
Yeah,
over reviewing a song. I'm serious.
That's
over reviewing a song. I'm telling you.
This is
I've
it.
got death threats for saying no to a date.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had death threats.
Do we really have free speech, guys? Do we really have free speech?
This is the thing.
I was thinking about this today. Like, I've seen a few people on the right, and they've been like, whenever there's like a video or something emerges of someone using, like, let's just use the N word for a reason or whatever, and in the comments they say, "Oh, it's free speech. Why are you letting words bother you?" Now, I thought to myself, wait a minute. If two men greet each other on the street, and you even look at that guy a certain way, let alone if you were just to call him a cunt, for instance, what do you think happens? It comes to blows. It's not, I've got free speech. Like, there's a famous video of a guy doing exactly that. You lot have probably seen it, where he calls this Asian guy the P word. And he's like, yes, you're a P, and that's what you are. And he's trying to be all like that, and the guy just bangs him in the face. Like, it's like, do we really have free speech?
No. I don't think we do. I don't think we do. I think we're for one, we're British, so we're very polite. We try and be polite as much as we can. To be fair, my favourite word sometimes is the C word when I'm in one of my moods. So, and as British people, we use it in certain ways that it can mean something totally different. We can greet people with it, and they go, "Yeah, hey up your back."
Yeah.
It's the British way. But do we have the freedom of speech? No, because at the end of the day, like you say, someone will get knocked out. Someone will be put on their arse.
Or we'll get put in prison as well. If we're doing it in this context where we are now,
Yeah.
and we either one of us three say the wrong thing right now, we're all in trouble. We'll all get a knock at the door,
Yeah.
and we'll have to give evidence against whoever said it, whether it be me saying it, you saying it, or you saying it. We'll have to give evidence because you're in trouble.
Do you agree with what was the name of the woman? Was it Lucy? Somebody who when the Southport riots, she went online and she said some absolutely awful things, and everybody's screaming that was free speech. She had the right to say that. She had the right because, one, she'd just lost her child and she was very, very upset. And then did she get 2 years?
Yeah, I think there's free speech.
There's
obviously there's the law. You can't incite violence or you can't make threats to death.
Yeah, you can't call
like
someone the P word and expect to not get done for racial assault.
No, well, to be fair, you probably could get away with that. You will. Yeah. You most likely will get away with that.
I don't think you could call someone the P word in England and get away with it. I think you would get done for assault.
People get... No, you would get... Obviously, if you say it to someone's face, they might react to it. But
well, I think you get done for assault. I think if you look at the law, it will be classed as assault, racial assault.
if it's done in front of a policeman, you'll get done for racial abuse.
You will. I've seen people get done for it. It's same as if you call someone the N-word or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like even someone said the other day, I like bacon sandwiches, but they said it towards someone who doesn't eat bacon.
Yeah.
So because they said it towards someone who doesn't eat bacon, I freaking love bacon, right? I'm telling you people, yeah.
Doesn't.
But I'm scared to say that. I'm scared to say like I fucking love bacon, right? I'm frightened to say that because I've probably offended someone now because I love bacon.
I
And I'm
think
not
I
saying
think
that
you're
towards anyone. I'm not
yeah.
saying it towards any group. I'm just saying that my mum and dad brought me up on bacon freaking sandwiches for breakfast every Saturday, and I love them. Have I
This,
said something bad there? I've
this
not
is
directed it at no one. Do you understand what I mean? But why should I be worried about a bacon sandwich?
this is where the right have their argument. This is where the right have their argument. This is where they're saying we have now lost the ability to say the most simplest things in the most simplest way without it being taken as a racial slur or as you know, hurty words. We have got to the point where we cannot say things. We're not allowed to say I like bacon sandwich.
No, it's crazy.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think what you'll probably find is the person that probably said I like bacon and I like bacon sandwiches. They probably said it to a Muslim guy,
No, they
knowing
did. That's what I said,
that
bro. They directed it to a
yeah,
Muslim person. Yeah.
and that's that, and you know, like you know, for whatever, like you know, Muslims, they care about their religion. They're serious about their religion. They're serious about their beliefs.
It is an insult, isn't it?
You know, I
To
mean,
direct it at an Asian person who doesn't eat bacon.
I don't know the context of it, but I've seen there's a guy that got arrested for throwing bacon outside a mosque. Like you know, there's people that are trying to entice and trying to upset the Muslim community, and they do stuff like that. But if you were just to sit here, I've got loads of Muslim friends. If you were to sit here and say I like bacon, I don't think many people are gonna. No one's getting offended by that. Like you know, someone might say to you, oh, so what you probably will get is a crazy extreme lefty that sends you a video of a slaughterhouse video. They're more likely to do something to you. They'll
And they'll
like,
look like
you, yeah, they'll look like you. Honestly, I was watching some of these riot things, and I'm watching young girls with masks on, just going up to big men with English flags, and just yanking them. I can't wait for Friday. I can't wait for Saturday to see these guys in real life. To be honest.
We're lucky. We're lucky we've got cameras, Brad. Because I tell you what, mate. If you go back to the '90s and you try and do that, there will be a freaking bloodbath all over the show.
Yeah, for sure.
We're lucky we got cameras.
Sure.
Yeah. But are we though? Because now it's getting to the point where there is stupidity. There is stupidity. Like you said, if you're debating with a Muslim guy, right? And most of us have got friends that are Muslim, and they say to me, you know, this is our religion, this is it, blah blah blah, and you sarcastically say, we're British. Hello, we're sarcastic. I like bacon sandwiches too much, mate.
Yeah.
Right? Now, somebody's walking past who looks like me and is loony left is going to go and report you because you've just said to a Muslim person, I like bacon sandwiches.
Yeah, Kitty then, right?
It's not the person you're talking to because that's your friend and you're just saying you two are just debating between yourself. I like bacon sandwiches too much, mate. I can't live without pig. Sorry. And before you know it, you've offended the woman walking past who heard it.
Well, I can relate to that because all I wanted the last week, Kitty, was some hot dogs. I just had a craving for some hot dogs, right? And hot dogs are pork, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't eat them a lot, but I just bloody fancied them. They come into my head, and I thought I'm going to get some hot dogs. And I went to the shop over the road there, and he had hot dogs, but they were chicken. And I said, "Oh, I'd prefer it if I could have some pork hot dogs, please. Do you have any pork ones?" And then he wasn't too pleased about that because in his shop, I think it was a cultural shop.
Yeah. Hello.
Whereas I don't see it. I just see some freaking hot dogs, right? I just see hot dogs, me. And then I walked out and I thought, oh, maybe I've just offended him because perhaps his faith doesn't allow for that. But then, as an English guy, should I worry about stuff like that? Because I was just wanting to get some hot dogs. You know what I mean? But he looked a bit pissed off that I'd asked. I did because I said it really politely. I said, I don't suppose you've got any ones that are actually from pork, have you, please? Because I want some pork hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then when I walked out, I thought, have I just done him? Do you know what I mean?
I would have got, if that's my local shop, I would have gone back in and said, listen, mate, have I just offended you? Because if I have, I'm so sorry.
But should I have to say that though, Kitty? I mean,
You shouldn't have to say it, but we're polite people, Nikki.
we are, but I'm asking for some hot dogs, Kitty, right? I just want.
I know, but the madness is we are polite people, and I would have gone back and gone, excuse me, mate, have I just offended you? Because if I have, I do apologise, because sometimes I'm so tunnel visioned, I forget, right? And I think that would be the way to handle that. But there is going to be somebody, maybe somebody standing behind you that heard you say that and could possibly have started something so much bigger, filmed you saying it, put it on the internet. Now you can't even go and ask for hot dogs in your local shop.
But then, if I said it's a bit peculiar to wear a dress as a man, now, have I now riled a load of people?
As a biological man who
I'm not saying about. I'm just saying, like, say sometimes when I go past the church on a Friday, on the mosque, I beg your pardon. Again, I've probably offended someone by calling it a church now because I've just messed my words up. But say when I go past the mosque on a Friday, like their attire is completely different, and to me, it looks like some of the people there are wearing these. They almost, I don't know what the actual name of it is, but it does actually look like a dress.
I think the way to describe it is a smock.
A smock.
I think so. I'm not sure. And if I've offended anybody, if that was
you see, every time you have to say something, right, you got to say, I'm sorry if I've... Right, let's say it's called a schmock, right, yeah? Now, if I say your schmock looks a little bit like a dress in the society that I come from, have I now riled a load of people?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. So you've got to be so careful, Kitty. Because I'd say something like that, me, just naturally like, oh, that looks a little bit like a dress. That's a bit funny to wear that.
That's where the right gets their argument, because they're saying that we have to watch our P's and Q's, and we're getting to the point where we can't say anything. We're sarcastic as a nation. I always say that as British people, we have two languages. We have English and we have sarcasm, right?
This fits quite into our conversation at the minute. I don't know if you lot seen this gentleman that broke the internet. This was the second video, but the first video he's dressed head to toe as a schoolgirl.
I think you're addressing her pronouns wrong, Brad. Can you show some respect?
I did think about that when I said that, actually, when that came out of my mouth.
Yeah, can you show her some respect, please?
Yeah,
she's clearly a lady.
I don't care whether she's fish, fowl, or nothing, but that outfit's bad. She needs a friend to sort that outfit out, right? But this is where the right has their argument, and this is where I will agree with the right. And I am straight down the middle. I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm straight down the middle. But the right have their argument. We've got to the point where we can't even have a little bit of banter. We can't even have a little bit of joke. And it is not the people that you and I are talking to, because like you say, we've all got friends that are Muslims, we've all got friends that are black, we've got some friends that are mixed, we've all got that community
We're
around.
English, that's what happens in England, isn't it? Yeah. We mix, yeah.
Big mixing pot. But it's the woman or the man that's walking past that is on that loony left that just goes, oh! Somebody said to me, right, this German man, right, asked me out on a date, and the lads were taking the mickey, going, oh my God, it'll be schnitzel and spare ribs, right, for dinner.
Yeah, which is quite funny, isn't it?
Right, so I'm like giggling my head off, going, I don't think so, because I don't like schnitzel. But somebody walked past and they're like, you can't say that to her. That's offensive. Don't speak on my behalf. I won't speak on your behalf, and you don't speak on my behalf. If I'm sitting there cracking up laughing with you about a joke that you've just said, it's not offended me.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me. It kind of makes me think of I forget her name. I feel really bad. But the Ukrainian girl that was killed on the bus. Sorry, everyone's seen it. Have you seen the video of the guy that stabbed the lady on the bus?
I've heard about it, but I've not actually seen the.
But yeah, so Piers Morgan done an interview yesterday, and he was going on about. I'll wait for Kitty a second.
Go on, baby.
Yeah, I was just saying, Kitty. Regarding Irina, the Ukrainian girl that was stabbed on the bus. Piers Morgan was on the internet yesterday, and he was doing a show, and he was talking about the media outlets didn't push this show, and he was like directing the conversation to two of his black guests, and I was just like, like if you look at the owners of these news outlets, they're not black.
No.
We don't have no power in that. So it's like you guys are antagonizing. It's like, it's got to that stage. Like, it's no longer a black or white thing in America. It's a left or right, and it's white people versus white people. And you guys are they're just going crazy out there, literally killing people now. Like, so it's like, people getting offended and stuff like that, about the flags. Like, I've seen most of the videos where I've seen people offended about the flags, it's been white people that have said they don't want the flags up in their area, because, part of being English as well is there's the snooty side of people, like, and especially the people that have a little bit of money and live in a nice area, they don't want to see those flags up. For them, it's tacky, it's dirty, and that's how they feel about it, but nothing to do with the ethnic minorities in the communities. Like, it's always you guys antagonizing each other, and then we get pulled into the argument. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? I shared the video about the girl getting stabbed, like,
That's what I'm saying. Somebody's speaking on your behalf. It's not you. It's not you guys. It's not me. It's not them. It's somebody that thinks that.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean, you guys?
Men. No, but you included me. Don't you start. No, but it's people talking on our behalves. I'm mixed race. I am mixed.
Yeah, because you've got Chinese heritage, haven't you?
Yeah. So they're speaking on my behalf as well. I'm very proud of my Chinese heritage. I love going back to Liverpool. I love the food, the culture, sitting in the corner with the hungies. I said to you, didn't I? I went to a funeral the other day, and I was a minority in Liverpool, and I've never felt like a minority in Liverpool because there is such a big Chinese community. But the woman that died that was white and English. So the hungies who she married into were in the corner. And we was like this minority in the corner. And I was like, I've never felt like that in Liverpool. Never. But it's people talking on our behalf. I don't want you to talk on my behalf. If you offend me, believe me, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
There's a guy, right? There's a guy, you might have seen him coming up on your social media. He wears something across his body with a message on it. And he says something like, there is no such thing as a transgender child on his billboards, right? And he's friends with Charlie Veitch and all these people. He's only a short little guy. I can't remember his name now, but he goes around England with a billboard that says there's no such thing as a transgender child. And then there's something on the back of his billboard as well. And he stands in places and he films.
So he's rage baiting, basically.
We can see your screen here.
Yeah. I just wanted to show you a quick video just regarding Charlie Kirk.
I'll come back to that in a moment.
No. Continue what you're doing. Continue. I'm not quite already up.
Well, he wears this billboard, Kitty, right? And I don't know if he's rage baiting. That's one way of describing it. But when he talks to people, he is very polite to them. And he's very knowledgeable about the drugs, about the puberty blockers, about various cases and all this sort of stuff. But if you see the abuse that he gets, like people have clumped him, people have shoved him, people have chucked stuff on him, people have chucked honey all over him, and it's, dare I say, usually people from a certain pronoun that do it, and they abuse him, and he's got loads of court cases and stuff because he has not got freedom of speech. He's not allowed to go in a town centre and say, this affected me, I don't believe there's such thing as this, and these are my reasons. He's not allowed without getting punched in the face by someone who believes the opposite. Whereas the other side, they get escorted by the police with full support. And you think, well, it's going to rile people eventually. Like, why is one side getting protected when they want to speak and the other not? And again, I'm a bit like you, Kitty. I'm not even smart enough to think about what bloody side I'm on. I just like chatting about it. But you understand what I mean? But
straight down the middle, we can see both sides of each argument. And I would say, how does he know that there is no such thing as trans children? If he's
and I would have to back that up and say by like whether I started this conversation saying exactly the same, whether we like it or not. You know, I've done interviews with countless trans people that have told me they knew that they were different at 8 years old. Some of them even younger. Like, you know, yes, in terms of the drugs, that's a reasonable argument. Say, you know, you say, look, if I understand you were going through this transition, you feel like you're transitioning and stuff, but maybe don't take these drugs till you're a certain age and then make that decision there. So that's something that that's a reasonable argument. So someone walking around with a banner that said there's no such thing with trans children, when we know that's not true, that's just inaccurate. Like,
yeah, but loads of people will agree with him.
No, but it's not true. But it's factually not
no,
true.
No, but Brod, right? A load of people will disagree with you, and they have the right to disagree with you.
But you can.
Right?
It's like you can disagree with someone all you want, but the fact of the matter is, there are like How many times growing up did you see a boy and say, "Yeah, he's gonna bat for the other side when he's"?
And
older?
this is what I don't understand whenever we talk about these things, right? What I keep asking people in these discussions is why are we only ever talking about men that transition to women whenever we have these discussions? We are never, ever, ever talking about women who transition to men, and I don't understand why. It's almost as if trans means a man who's now a woman.
Right.
I don't get that. Does no one understand that they work both ways?
Because it's a man transitioning. It's a man who has a right, and men are always right, and men will be the ones that antagonize everybody.
Well,
it's ever a woman transitioning to.
I remember you saying this last time, yeah.
Because I know people that have both transitioned from one to the other, and I always have a problem with the ones that were men, that were biological men, that are turning into a woman. They were the ones that are saying it's okay for unpassable men to go into women's bathrooms. Right, I'm going to say something here right now, and that is, you've not been a woman long enough to know what the fear is that a man with a penis will do to a woman. So don't tell me that a man with a penis that's put a frock on can go into a woman's bathroom while there are young children in that bathroom. I am not having it. I am not saying every man that transitions is a danger, but what I'm saying is there is a percentage that are dangerous, and you can tell us to feel comfortable.
I heard people saying things like, are they putting estrogen in bread and water or some ridiculous things like that? And I've heard that said a few times now. And every time I hear it, I start thinking, you what? Putting estrogen in the freaking water? You better not be.
Soya. Did you know that natural estrogen comes in soya?
So yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's why I don't like soy sauce and all that, because I like my testosterone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you're drinking soya milk, you're having extra.
But I'd like to know what else is affecting all that, Kitty, because it didn't used to be the same when we was younger. Like
if these products that people are eating that have soya in them, and a lot of people are gluten-free now and they can't eat nuts and so they're having to substitute it with things like soya and tofu and things like that, which will have soya in them. Yes, you're going to end up with a lot of estrogen in your food because you are.
I think that's a stretch, though. I think anyone that's transitioned or anyone that's gay or on that side of, like, you know, I don't think anyone's gonna say that they're gay because they had too much soya.
Well, people are saying it. People are saying it.
Do you know what that is?
I'm not
that's
saying
just like
it.
That's
if
just
people
like
go back and listen, they'll hear that I've not said it, but people are saying it. Yeah,
that's just the natural. I don't know what it is. You mentioned we only care about men transitioning. It's that natural sort of male, sort of like, you know, we're men.
No. Let's look at the statistics and we'll see how many go from men to women and how many go from women to men. Which one do you think will be more?
Men to women.
Are we going to sit here and pretend it's going to be 50-50? Really? Go and walk on your freaking high street and tell me it's 50-50. Go on.
But I don't think I don't have those calculations anyway. But
yeah,
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters. Go off your eyes. What you see in the street. Go off your eyes.
But I don't think it matters, though. I don't think it
matters.
No,
I don't think it matters. But the picture you put up wasn't of a man. It wasn't of a woman transitioning to a man, and it never is. It never is.
Do you know what? You'll never ever see a woman, right, that transitions into a man and no. Did you know that? Because they They literally.
Have you seen that one on TikTok with the ripped body? Like
You will not know. I swear to God, if I introduced you to my friend, you would not know. I would have to tell you when we left, and I'd go, she used to be a she. Because they like a woman, I'm not being funny, like a woman would get dressed up and make an effort. When a woman transitions into a man, they make an effort to look like a man. They really, really do. And when they start getting the testosterone into their body, they start with the facial hair. Come on, most women have got it anyway. We all wax it off. So they let it grow and they look like men. They are passable men. You will not stop.
I think that's like an easier ask as well, isn't it, for a woman to look like a man than it is for a man to look like a woman. I think it's an easier ask, and unless the woman's like really, sometimes you get really women that are really, really fugly. And some people accuse them of being men anyway, like or really tall, or not. Don't put yourself in the fugly category just because you're tall.
No, but do you know what I mean? Do you know how many messages I get asking when I transitioned? Because I'm 6 foot tall, and because I'm a size 12, 14, and because I'm not the biggest of chested people, and because I've got a strong jaw. I've got my dad's jaw, right? And I like football, and I like, going out on a Saturday and doing what I do, right? Do you know how many times I get questioned? Did you used to be a bloke? It is what it is. And for me, if I was to transition into a man, if that was the way I wanted to go, do you know how easy it would be for me to do? I'd only have to sit in my house for 6 weeks. I'd have faith. Do you know what I mean? I'd just slap on a pair of skeezy jeans, a t-shirt, bind my boobs down, because that's what they do when they first transition. They buy special binders, bind them down, off you go. Bob's your uncle, fine as your aunt. I'm a geezer. No.
It seems, I'm just reading something here. It says I don't know where this source is from, so just take it with a pinch of salt, please. It seems like trans women are 3 times more common than trans men. Go on. Yeah. Anyone give me a strong argument against that? Because
no, I totally agree.
It's men going to women, usually.
Course. Yeah, normally,
on all the internet things that I see, it's always a bloke going to a woman that's causing a discussion or whatever. It's never, ever the other way around.
A woman unfortunately, a woman transitioning to a man doesn't affect anyone. No one gives no one cares about it. That's why it's not reported upon. No one cares about it. Like if a woman that transitioned to a man came into your bathroom and went in the toilet and took a piss, you wouldn't give a damn. Unfortunately, this is the kind of some people are going to say it's sort of male sort of hierarchy and dominance or whatever it is. But it's if you were in the changing rooms in the gym and some man walked in, looked like a man, and then took his clothes off and he had a great pair of tits, that ain't going to cause no arguments.
No, it will cause an argument because that's sexual assault.
Sexual assault?
But no, but what we're saying is no man would.
No, not touching them. But I'm just saying, if you was in the changing rooms and a man takes his top off and he's got a pair of tits, a big pair of tits, that's not gonna cause any, like, you might just be like, but there's gonna be no fear from you. Like, and I think the women, when they speak about it, the one thing they always talk about is the fear of what a man can do.
But are you talking about a woman? Are you talking about a woman who looks a little bit like a bloke who's still got a woman's body?
Just a trans woman, basically. A trans man, rather. A trans man would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
A woman that used to be a woman and is now
now he's in the men's changing room to you. That doesn't stir any arguments. That person's not getting kicked out of the gym. They could be, men. They come in all shapes and sizes, ugly, fit, whatever it is. But unfortunately, the other way around, women have the problem with it. So that's why it's always an issue.
It's the fear. It's the fear, and trans women have not been women long enough, and this is my argument, to know the fear of basically a penis. They don't know, and you and I have talked about this, they don't know what it's like to walk along a street at night and wonder whether you're going to get attacked.
I think they might disagree with you. I think some of them might, because especially, I don't like it
long enough. That's what I'm saying. They know it. They know the fear. But we've grown up with that fear being instilled in us from
Yeah.
the earliest days. Do not walk along the street alone. Do not do this. Do not do that. Do not wear a short skirt. Do not go out. Do not get drunk and proposition stupidly or do something stupid. Don't wear low cut tops. Don't wear too much makeup. Don't do this. Don't do that. Because what will happen is men think that you want one thing and one thing only, and they're going to give it to you whether you want it or not. And that is the fear that we have had instilled in our brains from the day we were born as women.
Yeah,
then when
true.
a man transitions to a woman and they are not passable as a woman and they turn up in a woman's bathroom, we have got that fear running through our heads. And unfortunately, as we know, because of the press and because of the stories that are coming out, there are some wrong uns out there that use it to their advantage to take advantage of women. We know there are. You and I have done stories about it, about men that have transitioned in prison so that they can get rid of their identity when they come out, so that they can then go on and do it again. This is the fear that women live with on a daily basis. The irony of it is, if a trans woman came up to another woman and said, I am really scared to go in that bathroom because I don't want to offend anybody, we'd be the first to go, come with me. I'll take you.
I think the argument would be most likely that, unfortunately, if you're passable, you get the pass, and if you're not passable, you get issues. Like, you get called a weirdo, you get a creep, you get called all those sort of things. And is that fair? Is that fair? I understand the fear, but I have to
Not
try.
fair.
Like for instance, I showed the picture of that I don't know what sex I don't know how they identify, but
Well, I think you know how they identify, Bruds. I think you know fully. I think you know full well how they identify. So just say it. They identify as a woman. Just say it.
I don't know how they.
We do know. We do
I
know
don't know.
because we
I don't
can
know
see by the
personally.
picture.
I don't know, but tomorrow. It might be schoolgirl day to yesterday. It might be alligator day today. I don't know what this person was doing, but my point is, if it was, let's just put this. I don't know, a 21-year-old.
So you telling me that picture you put up there of that person in the train, not the Ukrainian girl, but the other one before that, you telling me that you haven't got the bottle to say what you think they identify as?
Well, I've done a little bit of research on it, and I've heard that the person is under like the person is receiving medical care. Basically, they have a carers and they get looked after. So I don't know whether it's a sexual, that's our minds, and that's our sort of automatically. Now we see a man dressed up as a woman, we think, oh, he must be a trans person. Like, is this exactly what you're insinuating? I don't know. I know men, straight men, that dress up like that. They might not look as bad.
So maybe he identifies as a man. Then is that what you're saying?
I don't know. That's the thing. That's the
one
thing about
so
now.
The viewers are very clear. I would probably bet my mortgage that person identifies as a woman.
Yeah, but as respectful people, as polite people, we will refer to that person as them, they, because
I wouldn't go that far. I'm not in that sense. I would just if I don't know something 100%, especially when we're talking about this sort of debate and this sort of topic, I would just say, like I said, I don't know how this person identifies or whatever. That's the respectful thing for me to do is just say it like that. And it doesn't mean that I'm scared to say anything. It's just that, if I don't have to offend someone.
Put the picture back up then and ask the viewers. Go on. Ask the viewers what they think.
1 second.
You get my point, yeah?
I
think you're showing a little bit of a lack of bottle here, Brad.
No,
right?
No.
I think you're trying to please people who are listening to this show right now. But I think you and I both know what that person would identify as.
But if that person came into the women's bathroom right now,
yeah, how would you feel, Kitty?
I'd be kicking off. And like Brudsy said, it's a matter of passable.
So now, if they came into a men's bathroom, how do you think I would feel?
Yeah, exactly. So I think we need a neutral bathroom.
Well, I said this years ago and everyone had a go at me because years and years ago, Kitty, I'll just tell a quick story while he gets this picture up, right?
Yeah.
We used to go to a gym many years ago, Kitty. This was back when I was about 20. So we're talking a good 25 years ago, right? And in this gym, there was a guy that looks like Kenny Everett. Do you remember Kenny Everett? Yeah?
Yeah.
Remember the little flicky of the legs, little
Yeah.
flicky legs, right?
Best possible taste. Go on.
Right? He behaved like Kenny Everett.
Yeah.
And at the time, people were naive on all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he made it very clear to everybody what his sexuality was.
Yeah.
Right? But we're all naked in a dressing room. Right? So
Right,
he's
fair
in a
enough,
dressing room with people that he finds attractive by default.
Yeah. It's not his fault.
So that would be like me changing with the women, effectively.
Yeah, but just because somebody fancies somebody, it doesn't mean that they're going to act on it. And
No, Kitty. The point I'm trying to make here is you're going on about how women feel this, and you'll feel vulnerable, and you feel this and that and the other, right? I don't think anyone would want to stand there naked with someone lusting after them without knowing. Like you don't want people standing there lusting after you when you're getting changed in a freaking gym, whether you're man or woman. I think you deserve that right. I, as a bloke, deserve that right to not get lusted after, right? And so does Brud, and so does any other bloke. We deserve to stand in a freaking dressing room and get changed, go home.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to be worried about fucking hell, who's knocking one out, who's
Yeah.
But that's quite. Some people are going to say that's quite extreme, because here would be the argument: there are gay men that will be in the showers with you, in the gym with you, and you won't even know that they're gay.
Yeah,
They
but
won't
Brud, I'm not saying I know the solution, because I don't know the solution, but I'm just pointing out something that happens, right? That I know that happens. People who fancy a certain sex are getting changed with naked people from that sex, whether they fancy them, act on it or not. That happens.
And you think
Whether
it's
it's right or wrong.
but do you think that's, you're mentioning it? So do you think it's a bad thing or a good? Do you think it's a bad thing? Should we change it? Like
I think that there should be separate cubicles in all dressing rooms, because there's so many different bloody pronouns now. No one knows what anybody is, and no one knows who fancies who. Some people say I fancy you, him, her, him, that, and that.
If a man fancies other men, should he not be allowed to change in the change rooms with that person, with the same
Well,
sex?
let me try and be clever, Clogs, and put the question back on you. If a man fancies women, should he not be allowed to change with naked women?
But it's a different gender. It's a different gender.
No, that's what I mean. So it's different. So even though sexually he fancies her, and even though sexually he fancies him, this one's different.
But imagine if we did that for every time someone had a preference.
You can't do it.
There'll be about 1,000. There'll be about 1,000 changing rooms.
I've been through it, Brad. I'm an intelligent guy, and I've been through it, and I've thought about it deeply, because there is no solution. The solution for me would be to have separate cubicles that are private, where I can do what I need to do in a dressing room, and not worry about who fancies me, whether a trans, whatever's going to walk in, whether a straight guy, gay guy, whatever. Just privacy in a changing room when I'm naked, and go home.
There's a school in Stevenage that I do a fitness day at, and I've spoke about this place, and they have neutral bathrooms. So what they have is cubicles running down one side of the room and the other side of the room, and men and women, boys and girls, use these bathrooms. And it's only like using a bathroom at home, because if you lived at home, you shared a bathroom. You go in, you do what you do, and then you come out and you wash your hands. They also have little tiny wash basins in these cubicles if you need to do something while you're in the cubicle. That, to me, is how we deal with this at the moment. This is the answer: neutral. That we have the facility to go into a room, do what you have to do, and come out and wash your hands. And that is.
So you're saying men and women sharing?
Yeah, but I'm not saying we're sitting next to each other. I'm saying cubicles.
I'd rather have a separate dressing room with cubicles where, right, if you have, I'd just rather.
I'm talking about toilets. I'm not talking about changing rooms. Changing rooms, like you say, I think that they should have, if you want to get dressed in front of everybody, do that. And then at the side, they've got rooms that you can go.
But people share dressing room. People share bathrooms anyway, don't they? So, for example, if you was in the workplace, you don't often have separate bathrooms for male and female. You might have one bathroom where everybody uses that bathroom. I'm talking about getting changed in the gym with people that you find sexually attractive, Kitty.
This is what this school has done. This is what they've done. They've made those bathrooms neutral. The changing room is totally different. But if you feel uncomfortable and you think people are going to fancy you, in most changing rooms, they do have cubicles that you can go and use. You don't have to get changed.
Not all of them, though, Kitty. Not all of them.
But most of them.
Because at the moment, it isn't a big enough issue. But in about 5 years' time, I think you'll find that you will find nothing but cubicles in gyms.
Yeah, this is the way forward, and it's going to be neutral. It's going to be
because no one can trust who's lusting after who.
No.
I don't think As a man, I don't think like, you know, obviously there's been a few instances where, like, obviously where it's time to drop the shorts and stuff like that, where, like, you know, I don't particularly like to show my manhood to people, so I'll just sort of like turn to the side or something like that when I'm putting my shorts on and stuff. But I don't think, obviously, you know, don't get me wrong, there's bad people out there that will be doing the wrong things in the changing rooms. That's probably the perfect place to go if you've got bad intentions. But I feel like most people, when they go to the gym, they just want to go there and work out, no matter who they fancy, like, you know. And I think most people are safe. But, you know, I understand what women are saying in terms of someone coming in and then whipping it, some, like, you know, seeing that might shock you. Like, I can understand that, like, you know. But
I think everyone deserves the right to privacy when they're naked. That's all I'm going to say, mate, because they shouldn't have people lusting after you that fancy you, whether they're male or female. That's my opinion. I think it's out of order that people shouldn't be given a freebie like that.
No, I totally agree. And in 5 years' time, Nikki, I do believe that
Honestly, it will be. It'll be cubicles because people will bring it up more and more, Kitty. And
yeah,
I
because
don't. Can I just make myself clear, Bud? Right. I don't necessarily have a massive issue with it myself, but I can understand why people would feel awkward if there's someone, Kenny Everett, in the gym who's going around who's very proud of his sexuality. I am this and I am that, and I hang about in Brighton. Fine. But then, because I know that now, I've got my Corey out, right? Whether you fancy me or not, I'm naked, bruv. Yeah? Do you understand what I mean, Kitty?
yes, yes, babe. Honestly, you're preaching to the converted here. Do you know what I mean? I hate going places. Right, on Saturday, right, I'm going to be there. Do you think I'm not going to get grief because I'm going to be dressed in a Union Jack dress and blah blah blah?
Yeah, you'll get some. Yeah.
that's what I said to her. I said to her, you know, I've seen them ripping the flag.
Unfortunately.
I've seen them ripping the flags off people. They rip your dress off, yeah.
Believe me. I tell you what, if you do that, you keep filming. You don't come in and help me because, believe me, you won't need help. I love that dress.
Are you wearing a nice British dress? Are you, Kitty?
I'm
Yeah.
wearing the Union Jack dress. I've got
Yeah.
a Union Jack dress. It's beautiful. It's wonderful, and I've been playing on it a little bit, and I've got a tiara, and I keep calling myself Lady Britannia. Right?
Have you got the bikini? I know it's a bit of details, but do you have the bikini matching underneath as well?
Of course.
Yeah. So if they do rip it off, Brud, right?
It's a carry-on mode. It's a
I'll have to speak to someone from. I'll have to get a paid Antifa member. It's 50 quid. You got the free pass. Go on.
You just keep rolling. You do not come in and save me because this is going to be one of those carry-on moments because it will have underneath the bikini.
Yeah.
Do you think someone will attack you, Kitty, when you go there?
I've been attacked. Listen, I've made this very, very clear. My dad was very, very instrumental in starting the St George Day Parade here in Nottingham, which over the 20 years has gone from a couple of hundred to 20,000 turning up on the 23rd of April. Right? I'm a proud English woman with Chinese heritage, but I'm a proud English woman.
What would you say to people though that say that you're not English then?
I am. I was born.
No, but people will say that you've got unfortunately, you know, especially with this nationality movement sort of thing. Unfortunately, now there are people out there, and a lot of them think this. They just don't say it. If you've got a teaspoon of colour in you, you're not. If you're not pure white, you're not English.
And my argument is I've chosen to live here, which is always going to be my argument. It is not about the colour of your skin. It is not about the religious book you read. It is about the fact that you've chosen to live on this island.
How do you feel about it, brother? Are you one of these guys who you know, in our cultures, a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm Jamaican, or I'm Mauritian, or I'm African," and all this sort of stuff. For me, I'm British, mate, and I'm very proud of it. What about you?
Yeah, I've always said the same. I'm English, like, you know. I've always been the same. I'm English,
exactly,
and I'm English, and you know that's what it is. I'm born in England, like, you know. My dad was born in England, like, you know. I've got family members that have done very government sort of jobs for England, like, you know. What would you? But the problem is, like, you know, that's how I feel. That's how you feel. But me and you, as men of color, both know the perception and what's out there. And you know, we're not stupid. We know people look at us if we say we're English, like, you know, they look at us they look at us like we're idiots, like, you know. But unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of people at the minute, like, you know. Famous. I've done a video recently. Tommy Robinson himself done an interview with this lady, and he's talking to her, and he's saying to her, "Look, it's the births. Asian communities are having 10 times. Their community is growing 10 times, growing by 10 every single year. The white and black community is only growing by 2% every year, so they're going to outpopulate us. And the woman says to her, "Well, what the hell do you want us?" Says to him, "What the hell do you want us to do? Like, we're having children, you're not having children. Like, are we supposed to get in bed with you, like, and make you like have children? Like, if you don't have children, then that's like, what is the answer if you're not having children?"
Do you know the other night when England were playing, one of the things that I noticed was Jed Spencer came on the pitch and they went, "This is the first Muslim player for England," and I thought, what the hell has that got to do with anything?
That's not true anyway. I think Marcus Rashford's, but he's on the low. There's a lot. There's most of them when they come onto the football pitch, you see a lot, especially the black players. Some of them you see them doing the gestures with their hands, which would suggest that they're probably following the.
So this is allegedly the first guy to play for England that was of Muslim faith. And I just thought, what the hell has that got to do with it? Anyway, I'm doing a live and somebody went, "Oh, this is disgusting," and blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Yeah, but this is 2025 in England."
Yeah, but Kitty, the guys, unfortunately, racist people will never tell you the truth. Like, and this is the problem with racism in England. It's spineless. They'll hide behind everything. "Oh, he's a Muslim. Look, we hate him because of that. Not because he's black. Not because he's Asian. We hate him because he's a Muslim." It's bullshit. Like, unfortunately, it's bullshit. Like, unfortunately, there are racism in England is full of spineless people that don't tell the truth. Like, "Oh, it's not because of this. It's not because of that." If all these Muslims were white, if all these Muslims that they're moaning about were white, there would be no problem.
I want to back you up there, Brod.
More white people would convert if more white if they were if.
Let me back you up there, Brod. When I walk in town, I hear a lot of Polish people speaking, and I think it's beautiful. Right? I love Polish people. I love the way they speak. I love their accent. I love their vibes, and I get on very well with Polish people. And when I first come to this town, mate, they were the first ones to invite me to the barbecues.
Yeah.
Right? But no one says anything about the fact that you hear a lot of Polish people speaking Polish or a lot of Eastern European people speaking various languages in town. But as soon as it's about the Muslim or you bring colour into it, yes, it becomes a massive problem. But no one says a word about any East. Just think about how many Eastern European have come to the country since the Euro stuff, yeah? And loads. I do not have a problem with it because I just like bloody people, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? But no one says anything. Like, I hear them all the time speaking Polish. I don't have a problem with it, but I think no one says anything about that. Yet as soon as it's a colour thing, it seems more like Brod's saying there, people are keen to say something.
What was you saying? Was it you that was saying about war? And you were saying, and while there are brown people being killed in war, nobody's batting an eyelid. But the moment, like Ukraine and Russia, when we start seeing,
wasn't me, but someone said that. Yeah,
it was me. It was me. I said it. Yeah. And it was
being carried out of hospitals and things like that. That's when the world goes crazy. We don't give a damn about brown babies. I do. I'm on the side of humanity. I don't care about what colour your skin is. Can you just stop killing each other? Yeah. That's my.
But you see, Brad and I, right, we're in a funny position now, Kitty, because I said to Brad when I spoke, I said, if someone slammed a headbutt in my face for nothing, which has happened to me before over racism, that's why I've got a scar on my lip there, you see, because I got a headbutt slammed in my face for absolutely nothing, because I grew up in a white area, right? Just got tapped on the shoulder and got headbutt slammed in my face and had 7 stitches, yeah? I'm expecting that to happen to me again because of all this stuff that's going on. I'm expecting it to happen again. I live in a fairly Caucasian town and I love it, and I love all the people here, but people are getting angry out there. Brad said it at the start, people are getting divided. It would not surprise me at all if someone slammed a headbutt in my face for nothing because of what's going on with all this stuff. Now, the other side of it is, Brad, sometimes I walk past the mosque, yeah, on a Friday when they're doing the prayers, whatever, and I'm not dressed in the schmock, did you say it was called?
I'm going to call it a schmock.
A schmock, right, so I'm not dressed in the schmock. And if you look at my beard, there's nothing, right? And they too give me the odd look.
Well, we've had this discussion.
No, do you understand what I mean, though, Brad? So you're thinking, right, a white guy might slam his forehead into my face now because he's looking at me thinking, he's one of this, he's one of that, he's one of that. This ignorance and racism that you're talking about, not realising that I won't say that about the bacon sandwich, but because I don't want to piss anyone off, but I could be holding a bacon sandwich walking down the road at the time that could happen. But at the very same time, Brad, there's other people that are looking at you from another side that are thinking, well, where's your fucking beard then? Why aren't you with us? Why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
They could slam a headbutt in
Yeah.
your face as well. So I'm a bit paranoid at the moment
Yeah.
walking out there.
Yeah. I think because, two things I'd probably say, like, I mean, you look like you could be. You look like you could be a little bit of black and Asian. Like, like when I look at you, and I feel like if they see you, they would naturally just assume that you're part of their culture, and they're probably looking at you in the sense, why
But
are you
now
not
you're
dressed like
assuming
this?
that all Muslims look a certain way. They don't, like, there's white Muslims and all that, right? Yeah,
Yeah, but
right.
if you walk past the mosque, and the people that are looking at you funny
There's people
aren't the
that look
white.
like you
Yeah,
that go in the mosque.
yeah,
There's
for
people
sure,
that
for sure.
look like Kitty
Yeah.
that go in the mosque. I want to make that very clear to everyone who's watching this right now, right?
People just by human standards, racially profile.
That's the point I'm getting at.
They racially profile. They will look at you who is mid.
Well, the first thing I'd think to myself is he hasn't got any hair on his face. So I haven't seen any Asian people without hair on their face where I've not got really hair on my face here, right? I've never seen Asian people to not have hair there, never. Personally, right? People look at you, they half of them want to fucking smash your face in because of the colour of your skin. Half of them want to smash your face in because you're not the right religion.
It's 2025 and people have got to learn that we are a mixing pot.
Scary, Kitty. It's not a nice position.
When my beard grows, I've had it bigger before, but when it was really big, there was a couple of funny instances when I'd walk into my shopping centre or whatever, and a Muslim guy would come out with a big beard and he'd give me like a little look like that, thinking that
He's
I'm
one
Muslim
of us
because of my beard, sort of thing, and that possibly sorry, Kitty, where were we?
No, but what I'm saying is that the same person that turned around to me and said, "Oh, this isn't right about Jed Spencer playing for England." I actually said, this is 2025. We're in Ireland. We've always been mixed. We were originally mixed with the Romans. We were originally mixed with the Vikings. Okay, they were white. That's the only difference. But when people come to an island, it's natural for that to then become part of the island. This is the culture today. There is nobody really of white. There might be a small minority, but because of the 2025, we've integrated. We're a big mixing pot. Islands are mixing pots, I'm afraid. One of the freakiest things I've ever seen was in Jamaica. There are white people that talk Jamaican. It freaks me out. It freaks me out because when I think of a Jamaican, I think of people like you and Broads. But when I see a white guy with with blonde dreads talking Jamaican, and he's been brought up there and he's lived there all his life, it's freaky.
What about Chinese Jamaicans then?
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Go to Liverpool, go in a Chinese chippy, it'll blow your mind. A little Chinese woman comes out and do you want ribs with that, love? And she's like tiny and she looks like my mum. It's mind blowing. I want to take my son just to see it. Or a Chinese Glaswegian. That's even funnier. But the thing is, it's 2025. We are a huge mixing pot.
Yeah, but Brad said it though, Kitty, didn't he? We've been divided, and we're getting divided all the time with things. I'm telling you, he's right.
We are, because I feel like, when I speak to a lot, I have friends I have like people that I like to speak to literally everyone. I don't care if you've got the harder your views are, the better. And I've got these people and I hear them in their videos. And the biggest thing at the minute is we're a white country. We're a white country, and that's one of the biggest things they're saying. We're a predominantly white country. Jamaica should stay black, Chinese should stay Chinese, England should stay white, and this is what's being pushed out there. And it's like, obviously, we have to accept, it's a predominantly white country. We can accept that, no problem whatsoever. Jamaica's a predominantly black country. China's a predominantly Chinese country. The problem is when you go around countries, destroying them, stealing their resources, You know, when creating all these wars, destroying countries, like look what we've done to the Middle East, all because of someone that sits in government now, I would say, for another country, sat in the office and said, look, we need to go to war with all these countries, and then we go up, we risk our lives, and you know what can be done. Like, you know, people came here to help rebuild this country after what the Germans done to it. Like, you know, after what the Germans done, they came to this country. And don't get me, I hear people saying this as well a lot. You know, our grandparents didn't fight and die for this. These people are so ignorant. They don't realize that every single war that this country has been in has been fought by black and brown people as well. They fought in the same trenches. They might not have been in the trenches doing that, but World War One, World War Two, like, you know, if you only have to do a little bit of research. It wasn't just white people fighting. You know, they just do a little bit of research, but some people are so ignorant and stupid. Like, and also what kills me, sorry, I got another little rant. You know, we had this World War, I think he's a World War, I think he's it must have been World War II veteran, and he was talking, he was saying how much he hates this country and blah, 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 and he was saying it's changed too much, the demographic, and you listen to him because you want to listen to people. And then the cheeky guy had the cheek to say, I've got a Nigerian carer that looks after me. He's moaning about the country's diversity and stuff, and he's got a Nigerian carer, which he openly said, oh, yeah, she's lovely, they're lovely people, but it's too mixed and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's that...
Oh, you remember in the 80s, Alf Garnett had a show, and he was like this, like you say, an older gentleman, and he'd be like, we're white, and then he had Marigold. Can you remember Marigold? A gay black man that was looking after him, who was his carer, and they had this amazing relationship where he'd come in and go, come on, Marigold, and whatever. His name wasn't Marigold, but that story is just, you know, that was 20, 30 years ago, Alf Garnett literally doing exactly the same. Come on, Marigold.
I think a lot of it depends, right, on your parents and how they're going to school you when you're growing up to shape where you think you're from. Because my parents could have easily said to me, Nick, you know you're not English, you're Mauritian, which is where my family comes from, right? My mum's a lot lighter than me, just so you both know, okay? My mum's got a lot lighter skin than me, and so is my brother. But my dad and I have both got quite a dark skin, right? But my brother and my mum is both quite light. Yeah, just to put it in context. Yeah, if you saw my brother next to me, you'd probably think, mate, is that really his brother? His skin is very light, okay? But what it is, Brud and Kitty, is my parents brought us up to be proud of being in England, because it really took them a lot to get here. They got a letter through the post saying, people in England are not really looking after their own. Do you want to come and work in the NHS? Or do you want to stay in Mauritius for the rest of your lives? And a few people like my mum and dad went, you know what, let's go and try an adventure. Let's go and help these people. And my parents both say that they were made to feel so welcome, right, when they first come. We've been instilled, Nick, you're British, you eat roast dinners, you're going to eat bacon sandwiches, and we're going to do fry-ups on a Sunday. I hope that doesn't offend anyone. We're going to watch football. You're going to have English friends. You're going to have an English accent. You know, when we went up to London, where my cousin come from, we started talking road. We got the shit kicked out of us because my parents didn't want us to speak road. They wanted us to sound like British people because they wanted us to be part of this society. And I'm proud of that, Kitty. And black people have a go at me. They say to me, you sound white. No, I don't fucking sound white. I sound English, you prat.
Well, even me, I've had that. I've had that
my
whole
you
life.
Speak lovely. You speak lovely.
Do you know how embarrassing? I'll tell you an embarrassing story. Obviously, I've been in many worlds and stuff like that, and I used to meet with a lot of solicitors. So I've spoken to this solicitor on the phone. It's the most embarrassing thing ever. We've arranged to meet up at a hotel. So I'm at the hotel. I'm sat there.
I know what you're going to say, man.
I see this guy sitting right across the road, right across the floor from me. He's looking at me. He looks at me, but then he ghosts me totally. I have to text him to say I'm here. And I watch him answer his phone. He goes, where are you then? I'm right in front of you. Like, you know,
yeah.
I thought you were the funniest. They always use an excuse. They say I thought you were Spanish, but you know exactly what he meant. He thought he was going to see a white guy. That used to happen to me. I used to deal with solicitors all the time. Birmingham, Blackburn, all those up those areas, and these were Asian guys as well, weren't white people, if anyone's asking. But it happened. These kind of things used to happen to me all the time, like
You've got a British accent, brother, and you've got a lovely. You speak really well, mate. I think that's why people are gravitating towards your podcast, because you speak really well. You communicate so nicely. But we've got nice, good British accents, you and I. Why not?
What are you saying? What are you saying, blood? You saying I'm not talking like a proper man, yeah?
You get me, fam?
You
Yeah.
trying to violate, man, yeah?
Shut up! I'm on my iPhone. You get me?
Listen, my mum, obviously she sits here and she listens to it sometimes, and obviously she'll watch it and then she'll go, "That's not Brooksy. That's not. That's not. You've got a voice that sounds like you should be, news at 10. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, you speak well, brod.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say.
What is my mind? And she always says it just doesn't look like how he sounds, and I think that's
especially now, yeah, that my hair's
with
grown.
blonde, yeah.
But a lot of what I'm saying, Katie, a lot of black people will actually look at you funny and treat you funny if you actually speak like this. They think that you should sound. They think that being black means you've got to sound like a roadman. That's really sad.
This is where the divide is coming in. So by right, racial profiling, you should speak road and you should be Jamaican.
That's right. Yeah.
If you want to be. The fact that you speak quite clearly and quite beautifully, both of you have beautiful accents, and you are very proud to be British or English or whatever you want to be, is disgusting to some people. It's not you, and this is where, like we've said about the loony left and the loony right. It's usually not people like us that are complaining. It's people that think we're going to be offended.
Yeah. I mean, black people can be really racist, Kitty. Yeah, we're all aware of that, aren't we? Black people.
Everyone can be racist.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Everybody can be racist.
I've had African people tell me things like what you were sort of admitting to, trying to guess your race and all that sort of stuff. And they might say things like, "Hey, you are not African," and all that. And you think, well, when I got headbutt slammed in my face, mate, I felt African then. I can tell you that much. You know what I mean?
People don't. There are Chinese people that don't like me because
you're not full Chinese. Yeah, it's disgusting, man. That's so disgusting, Kitty.
That's
it's disgusting.
That is it. So you get it wherever you go.
Yeah.
There is always going to be somebody that doesn't like you because of something. It could be because I'm tall. It could be because I look like a geezer sometimes. It could be because I like football.
I don't know why you keep saying that, Kitty. You do not look like a geezer, right? You've got to get that out of your head.
Right, but anyway, not everybody's going to like you. And it's one of the lessons that my dad taught me. Not everybody's going to like you. My dad was a big 6'4" miner, right? Bit of a geezer, he had a bit of history, he had a bit of form. Do you know what I mean? And he married this 4'11" Chinese woman from Liverpool, right? It just wasn't heard of back in the day. And I remember his parents talking, "Oh, they're a cruel race."
No way, man! Shut up.
They're a cruel race.
They're a cruel race.
They didn't.
Do you hearing this, brud?
They wouldn't have his grandchildren in the house because they were mixed with this cruel race. Now you go on the other side where my granddad had come over in 1943 and was very integrated, and he couldn't speak a word of English because he'd had a stroke, and my nana, right? They welcomed you. My granddad would make sure he had good food, blah, blah, blah. And it's just two different worlds. It was just two different. Now, I have to admit, my dad's side of the family there's not an issue. We all get on. There's no problem. But I remember that divide of they're a cruel race, and he's married this Chinese woman. I think they were more upset she was from Liverpool as well. I think that upset them as well. She was a Scouse. But there was that divide. But people got offended on my behalf. I don't want you to get offended on my behalf. I'll fight my own battles. If I think that somebody is disrespecting me for something that I cannot control, I can't control that I'm half Chinese. I can't control that I'm 6 foot tall. But I'm a proud British English woman who was brought up by proud British English people like yourselves. We have chose to live in this country. If we wanted to, we could all go and live in Spain like they all do. Like on Benidorm, that program where they all go to Benidorm. We could all go and live there if we wanted to, but we're not. We're choosing to live
Well,
in.
look at this then, Kitty, right? If we've got you that's got the beautiful mix of the British and the Chinese and the British, whatever way you want to put it. You've got Brud, who's got Jamaican heritage, British heritage, whatever you want to call it. If I'd have said to you 2 years ago, you might be going to a Tommy Robinson march, right? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you two might be going to a Tommy Robinson march in the future. This, for me, highlights how people are feeling.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think this thing on the 13th is it could go horribly wrong.
It's tomorrow. No, 2 days' time. Yeah.
Go horribly wrong, or it could go horribly, fabulous.
I think it's going to go pretty bad, Kitty. There could be a massive civil.
Just see, I was quite. Well, I even sent Tommy a message today, actually, just to be careful and stuff. But not that he replies.
Do you know him, Rod?
No, not like that. Not like that. No, not like that. Nothing like that.
Do you know Boris Johnson?
But just after seeing what's happened with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I agree.
And also as well, this just there's going to be and unfortunately as well, it's the football weekend as well. Like if Kitty, unfortunately, if you are to be fined any sort of abuse at all, it might be from Arsenal fans. If they spot that you're Arsenal, if they spot that you're this, I don't know. Apparently, there's meant to be a truce on these days when people come to the.
The good thing is, I will have quite a lot of forest there.
Why are you both going? Can I ask you both, right, one at a time? Right. Firstly, Brad, let me ask you, why are you going, Brad?
I'm going because I want to get. Obviously, I'm not lying. I'm going for work purposes. I'm going to cover the thing. That's literally. I want to go and experience it for myself. Speak to the people, find out exactly why they're going as well. My thing is speaking to people. That's why I'm going, and it's work.
Are you impartial? Are you impartial when you go?
I'm always impartial when in anything, in anything. It's like been watching Veach and people like Veach that go out and do these interviews and speaking, and I feel like I might get myself in trouble because I'm watching these things. I'm like, why? If I was there, I would be like, why are you shouting at that police officer? Why are you throwing bricks at the police officer? That's just criminality. Nothing you say, I can't take someone serious. There was these guys there. Oh yeah, I'm for the kids. I want to save the kids. He couldn't even stay sober for the day, he couldn't stay sober for the day, so there's a lot of rubbish going on, and unfortunately there's a gang. Every man knows about gang culture, and at this precise time, with the cost of living and everything going on, there's a lot of lonely, upset men at the minute, and especially the younger boys. When you're young and you're impressionable, you'll go and gravitate to anything someone says. And if your dad's, most people know what their dads say behind closed doors, and I've grown up in London. I grew up with white people, and my friend, some of the things we used to say to each other would be would be deeply offensive now. I couldn't even say what we used to say to each other, but I would always get my friends saying, "Oh, you can't come in my house. My dad would kick you out. He hates bloody this and that." You get that sort of vibe and tone sort of thing. And then I feel like when you, especially as young boys, if you've got a dad talk to you like that, and if things aren't going, unfortunately, it's always the lowest of the social economy that sort of really gets hard with the yeah, because it's it's not just them, but the people with good jobs. They're not going to be stupid. They're not going to be there throwing bricks. Only the idiots. There will be idiots always. But predominantly, it's going to be the guys from the council estates that have got absolutely nothing. They haven't got a job. And someone has convinced them, all they have to do is watch a certain person, someone has convinced them that it's all those brown people's fault.
That's right. Kitty, Kitty, can I ask you the same, right? What are you expecting to get out of it? Why are you going? Sorry to take over the interview questions, Brad.
No, we like this.
Firstly, like I said, I am a proud Englishman's daughter. And my dad died 5 years ago. I know for a fact if my dad was alive right now, we'd have been pushing him through those streets while he's shouting with his walking stick, probably causing enough trouble for everybody. My dad, like I say, married a Chinese woman. And one of the last things we talked about before he died it was just the start of the BLM movement. And there was going to be a rally on the Sunday. My dad died on the Thursday, and there was a rally on the Sunday for the BLM. And my dad asked me, he said, I know it's lockdown, babe. He says, but will you take me to the BLM movement? And I was quite surprised. I was like, hey, what do you want to go to that for? And he went, well, firstly, every person has the right to a life. Every person. But these are British people that feel like they have no solidarity with everybody in this country. I want to go and show that we're willing to stand with you. We're willing to stand with you, but you've got to stand with us back. And that was my dad's view. And that is what I want to do. I want to go and stand with the British people. I want to go and stand with the English people. But I also want to have a chat with people and maybe sort of get them to see, I'm not going to change anybody's mind, but I would love to just change one person's mind and say, you do know you sound a bit stupid, don't you? When you
Now, whose mind are you changing? What side?
Either.
Yeah.
I do. The right is absolutely ridiculous. It's all the brown people's fault and no, it's not. You're sitting on your arse, claiming PIP, not working. You could go out and pick litter up off the street, but you're too busy cracking cans and doing half a bag at the weekend. Shush, right? And then you got the loony left that's going, well, you're not allowed to say that. I'm allowed to say what I like. Go on, off. Do you know? And you just sound stupid. We need to come together. We need to tolerate each other. You are living on this island. You have chose to live here. Be proud of it. Don't let your garden get messy. Don't let your street get messy. Get out there and clean it up if you've got all else to do. Go on, get out there.
Has any of you two ever thought about leaving the country?
No. Never.
No.
I mean, obviously,
I have recently.
there's some beautiful. There's just going to coming back from Tenerife and seeing some of the sites, and it's something I want to do a bit more, traveling and stuff and seeing the world and stuff. I did when I was at Tenerife. Our hotel looked over this lovely villa, and I did think to myself, ooh. I think I could live there, but I thought to myself as well, if my family and friends were there, it would be fine. Like, even just my family, it would be absolutely fine to live in this lovely. I was looking at the villa and I thought, oh, that's a bit of me. I could definitely do that. But the only thing that would be missing is just obviously family and friends and stuff. But, that's the only thing. Not because of anything what's going on, like, not in terms of anything what's going on, just in terms of a better life, like,
Well, because of the lack of freedom in speech recently, I've been thinking to myself, you know what? I'm getting to the end of my tether now. It's beginning to get on my nerves a little bit, really. But the problem is, you ask yourself, well, where else can you go? Where else would you get this level of
help?
Well, just like a decent first world country, basically, Kitty.
Yeah.
And then you've got the problem is when you are black as well, you've got the problem of going to a different country and people just assuming that you're going to be a certain type of person as well. You've got that, so you'd have to spend a few years overcoming that as well. But I'm getting sick to death of it, if I'm honest. It's freaking me out a bit. I'm worried all the time, thinking who's going to fucking headbutt me, who's going to smash my face in,
But you're telling your story. You're telling your story. So, as much as you are afraid, you're brave enough to tell that story. And there's going to be people that will see this and realise that maybe what they were thinking of doing, maybe they were going to go out and headbutt somebody because they were brown. You may have changed somebody's mind.
Unfortunately, though,
Maybe
we live. Unfortunately, we live in a horrible world where the reason why the rise of hate crimes, the rise of the far right now is because they're losing. Whether they're losing. Whether they want to, whether like Tommy Robinson wants to do all the things he's doing, all the things he's talking about. Bottom line is, Tommy Robinson talks about multiculturalism has failed. Just look at everyone's day-to-day life. You work with a black person, you go to school with a black person, you date a black person. Like, most women, like a lot of, especially younger generation of white women now, they only want to date black men. Like, and that's something that's contributing to the hate that's out there. But, you've got you've got predators out there. Their goal is to make us scared. Their goal is to make us scared. That's the only way they can try and win. Just us living our lives and coexisting with each other. Like, no one really likes anyone, really, just like people want to go to work, come home, have a good life, have a family, whatever it is, that's what most people want.
Keep your head down.
Yeah, people want you scared. So when, like, it's obviously there's a survival instinct, you've got to be aware, but I wouldn't, I would really try and push against that, like in terms, just in the sense that, like, don't let the people out there, the weak people that are typing shit on the freaking computer, make you feel scared in your own country. Like, I would say try and fight against that. But obviously, keep your head up. Keep your head up.
Mate,
And obviously, be ready to slip them punches should they come. And anyone can get faced with that.
the problem, you know what I'm scared of, bud, as well? Like, as if anyone comes for me, mate, I will defend myself, yeah? I'm not going to stand there like some fucking bitch, mate, and take it. I will defend myself, yeah? And the problem is you can get in so much trouble for doing that, right? I could really badly hurt someone. I could lose my temper. I could really do something bad. The next thing you know, 2 weeks' time, you could be speaking to me from prison, just like that.
That will help you. There are cameras. You've said yourself there are cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
If you are attacked, look at Tommy Robinson. He was attacked.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Released immediately, and there was no further action because of cameras. And that is the only reason that he is still sitting here today, but with cameras. Going back to your question, is why I stay here is I've got a daughter who's disabled, right? If I went anywhere else in the world, that child, my child, would be considered defunct, basically.
Yeah. You get no care, would you? Nothing like proper support.
No help, nothing. Okay, I have to fight for everything that my daughter gets. I'm currently fighting the council for transport and things like that, but she gets it. Any other country, she wouldn't get it. She wouldn't get it. She wouldn't. Do you know, I've got people reaching out to me, actually asking how I am. Where in the world would you get a service where they ask how the carer's doing?
Yeah.
This is the great country we live in. We haven't got enough money. We haven't. The immigration situation is depleting this country to the point of bankruptcy. To the point of bankruptcy. And that is what the right are playing on. They are playing on the fact that the British people, the people that have paid into the system all their life, are getting nothing and having to fight.
But what are they? This is what makes me laugh when I hear this sometimes. I hear this a lot. Immigration's costing us this, it's costing us that. What's going to, if there was no immigration, do you think the government's going to give you anything more? No one's giving you shit. Like, you get your healthcare in this country, like, and no one's giving you shit. There could be no immigrants tomorrow, and you're still going to be poor. You're still going to, like, the people that are moaning, the ones that are, like, just moaning, like, no, I'm not rich, but I'm saying, but the people that are moaning, these are people that, you look in, like, Middlesbrough and places where when the riots kicked off, there's a generation of families that don't work. All of them out there stealing Greggs and stealing shoes. Like, no amount of immigrants. And the sad thing about it is they have to import immigrants to those areas because the locals don't work. We have to import African countries, half of Africa, to come over here to wipe our elderly's backside because we don't do it.
Well, that's why my parents came here and they both retired in the NHS, serving British people that were ill for their whole entire careers from the age of 20.
Yeah,
that is the argument that the right are using. That is the right. They are depleting the country. The reality is we're all depleting the country in some way or some because we've got no bloody money at the moment. There is no money. What is depleting the country is going to war where we're not really anything to do with it. We came out of the EU for a reason. So why are we now paying for wars in the Ukraine and Russia?
Because it's much more sinister. It's much more sinister. I was watching this interview with this AI guy that does he talks about AI anyway, and he was saying, like, it was talking about the threats of AI taking over and starting to think for itself and stuff like that. And he said, like, if there was an AI leader, it would make a very simple, calculated decision to be able to just stop war. If we stopped war, if we just generally just stopped war, every single person on this universe would have fresh water, fresh food, like, just stopping the wars. But the problem is you have warmongers out there, and you have, it's really deep and sinister. People that have got so much money, so much greed. Like, they could literally give, like, in I think it was Libya, where Colonel Gaddafi was from? Yeah. Like, Libya. When that guy was in control, if you wanted to get married, you got a grant. everyone was given free healthcare. Everyone was given if you wanted to get like, you know, they encouraged like not like, you know, morality, being in a relationship, like, you know, have you wanted children, if you wanted to send your kids to college, like, you know, they were able to do that in Libya. We could do 10 times as much here. And no amount of immigration is going to change that, because we have greedy, spineless politicians that get caught doing the wrong things on camera. Like, you know, there's the whole thing. These politicians get caught with their pants down, and then someone bribes them. And in some cases, it could be a country. And then when that country says, you know what, if you want to be a leader in this country, if you want to be a leader, you're going to need our support. You're going to need our financial backing. Like, you know, it's all about money, greed, and all the rest of it. And then, you know, you've got a man in the White House that's, you know, best pals with Epstein. Like, you know, best pals with Epstein, and people love him. Like, you know,
And Mandelson as well.
Yeah,
all of it.
yeah. I mean, look at the recent Deputy Prime Minister. She used her son's compensation money to buy a house and forgot to pay stamp duty on it.
It's just crazy greed, man. It's just crazy greed. Honestly, how much is enough? How much is enough?
Her son's compensation she used to buy a house and then forgot to pay stamp duty. These are the people that are the leaders in this country. If they can do that, what are they doing with the money that is in the country? That is what I want to know.
Yeah, they're doing what everyone else is doing, Kitty. Yeah, they're doing what the Africans are doing, and everyone has a go at the Africans for doing it. You know, here's 20 million for a school. Well, thank you very much. That's 18 million in my pocket.
And 2 million.
That's another million for messing around and gambling. That's another 500,000 for some food. Here's your 500 grand, you dickheads. That's what's happening in Africa. Yeah. But they're the same everywhere. I think, do you know what it says? I'm not a religious person, Kitty, right? But I'd like to read a quote from the Bible, because it's a quote that people often get wrong, and it's very quick, Brad, so don't you worry, right? No, the quote is, the love of money, yes, it's very important. The love of money, not money, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Definitely.
What it says in the Bible. I'm not a religious person, but I wholeheartedly agree with that, because I see people doing each other over there on the street for 20 quid. And it goes up and up and up. And then you're looking at the politics where you're thinking, new school, new this, no, new house. Sorry about the stamp duty. Keep it quiet. We're all privileged here. No one's going to find out about this. Well, we found out now. We know what your true colours are now. Now it's even less trust in the government now. Yeah, even less. Who knows what they're doing? What about their pay rises? Are they going to get more pay rises? Are they going to get more bonuses? Are they going to get more...
Do you know they've got a restaurant in the House of Parliament where they get beautiful food and it costs them like £1? You know, like they're subsidised. Their restaurant is subsidised. But they're also getting a food allowance when they're in the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah, which is a lot more than £1 probably, yeah?
Yeah. So I said, open a Greggs in there. Just open a Greggs and they can have or a Tesco's, and they can have a £3 meal deal. Because I am not paying any more for steak and chips that they can pay £1 for. I'm not doing it. I think we need to look at the government. I go back to our friend Andrew, who seems to want to serve the people. And that's what we need. And our hope, and I know Bruds is the same, is that money doesn't get to him. That people, you know, that they haven't got something on him yet.
Yeah. Who's that? Who are you talking about? Andrew who?
Andrew Wade is a gentleman that we interviewed a few months ago, and he wants to start his own party, and it's going to be called the Core Party, and his idea is that the British subjects are the customer, and the government are the company, and what they're going to do is they're going to have to answer to the British public, and that he's got all sorts of facts and figures on how we are wasting money right now, wind farms, you know, machinery and things like that. He's got all this information on how we are, you know, but he's also got answers how we would transfer the electric from the wind farms that's not being used and just being told to switch off. He's got answers. I'm hoping that we get someone like him, and he's not gonna be swayed.
I just, you know, I just feel that like it's like leadership, like to be a leader of a country and stuff, like, you know, it's so much deeper, and I feel like there's so much more shadow government than we even know. The people that we think are in charge, do you really think they're in charge?
No.
Like, you know, like even Donald Trump, you know, you'd see Donald Trump and you'd see him, you think he's the most powerful man. He talks all the good stuff, like, you know, and he's friends with Elon Musk. What did they do? Someone turned up in a freaking what were those electric vehicles? It was one of those Elon
Tesla.
Musk. One of those. Someone they blew up a Tesla vehicle outside Trump Tower. That is a straight warning to Trump and Elon Musk, and that should just send shivers down. Sound everyone's like, there's serious people in charge, and we're never gonna know. Unfortunately, HS was talking about this as well. He was saying, "Why you lot care about politics for? Go and make your money. Go and make your money and get out of this country." Like, you know, and unfortunately, that's the kind of attitude that everyone has. It's all for one and one for all sort of thing. Like, you know, screw everyone else over. Get rich, die trying. The problem is people are trying, and the people that are trying, they're getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and eventually, if those people aren't happy, like, you know, just sort of going off, when COVID happened, people were talking about whether there was food shortages and what would happen. And I said, if the government don't give people food, it's Mad Max time. It's Waterworld time. People, the civilized person that you see next door to you, that you wave against to, they will be the first person doing you over in your house.
They'll rip your head off.
Yeah, literally.
Self-service. Can we just go back to HS Tiki Toki, please?
Okay. All right, let's control this. We'll do HS Tiki Toki, and then we'll do the Ginger guy as well quickly. To wrap that up. Yeah, let's do HS Tiki Toki first.
Trolling Harvey Price.
He's yeah. What did he do? I didn't see it, to be honest with you.
Basically laughing because Harvey's obviously having a meltdown, banging his head against a wall. While Katie's sort of sat there and she's sort of trying to say, come on, calm down, blah, blah, blah. And he's cracking up laughing. And then he's mocking him in sketches. Elephant. Because somebody has said that he looks like Harvey. And he thinks this is funny content. As a mother of a child with complex needs, I don't find that funny. I don't find that funny. I don't find HS Tiki Toki a very nice person. But one of the things you and I have said, in the light of someone like Charlie Kirk and what's just happened, he needs to be very, very, very careful.
They all do, Kitty. They all do now.
That last night repulsed me. It sickened me to my stomach. He already sickens me because he was friends with that predator. He already sickens me, and he made jokes about that predator and how he liked younger girls, and now he's mocking. He's mocking the, you know, children, people with complex needs. This is a guy that then went on and spoke about Charlie Kirk. Oh, the man he was shot in the neck, blah blah, just for having an opinion. You, my friend, could be the next. Like you and I have said, Brooks, there's a chance somebody could poke him with something very sharp if he's not very careful.
Yeah.
Because he's rubbing people up the wrong way.
Yeah. The thing that led me to that was, because I must put that out there, is that, you know, he's been going, like, I saw a video of him, like, you know, giving it the Billy Big Bollocks sort of thing, squaring up to these massive 6-foot African guys in another country. And I was just like, bro, you've made all this money. Like, you've made all this money, you've got all the fame. Why would you want to bring that element into your life, trying to act like you're some street roadman or something like that? Like, you know, I was just like, why would you do that? It's like suicide. Like, you know, you make your money, you get the fame, stay away from that road shit, bro. And that's why I was mentioning that to him.
Yeah, no, I've made no bones on the fact that I knew somebody who lived in South Africa. He was a white guy, but his sons were mixed race. And he took his son out to a pub in South Africa, and there were some Afrikaans in there. And this guy that I know is not a scared man. He will stand up to the biggest man in front of you, and he doesn't care. He's got no fear. But he said he grabbed his son and walked out of that pub. That's how much you do not mess with the Afrikaans in South Africa. And if he's in Dubai or wherever he is right now, messing about with Africans, this man ain't gonna last. I'm sorry, because they don't play. And he is mocking he is mocking as many people as he wants. And he has probably said, right, with the Louis Theroux thing, I am going to piss off a lot of people, but my name's going to be out there.
Yeah, he done that ages ago anyway. Like the morality's gone. It's like
he's lit fire again, and he's going for it. But that sickened me to my stomach, seeing him mocking a person that cannot control themselves, and the thought of him doing that to my daughter. I could not be responsible for what I would do to that man for doing that. So, like I say, if I feel that way, what's to stop other people doing stupid things?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that I would hurt HS Tiki Toki because he's not even on my radar as such like that. But what I'm saying is, if I felt that strongly about what he'd done, there are people out there that would act on that, like they have done with Charlie Kirk.
So sad, man, Charlie Kirk. Eh? What the hell, man? Do you know what I mean? Like, surely you can't just get shot for talking.
That is basically. It's not even the fact that he was talking. It's the fact that people now have a platform to celebrate his death, to show his death. Can you? 20 years ago, would you have seen half the stuff that we've seen? They're showing
too much. It's too much. It's crazy.
Of that young woman on the train.
Yep. What's the benefit of that? What is the benefit to having this X platform that shows you people like and Instagram? I've seen someone actually post a video on Instagram's going downhill as well. Like, you know, but like, what is the benefit to society to show someone being killed? To have that and unfortunately, we're in a world now with this social media, like, you know, where nothing phases us anymore. Obviously, we see something that shocks us, but the more we see, it's kind of sadistic. The more we want to see more, kind of like, you know, and that's the kind of feel. It's like you don't want to look at it, but you know it's there. So, you know,
I don't look at it though, Brod. Yeah, I've got a lot of self-control, and I don't look at any of the stuff. I haven't seen the actual video of him being shot in the neck or anything like that. I've seen it until it stops at a certain point, and same with the person on the train. I refuse to watch any stuff like that. So when people send me shit like that, I don't want to perv over stuff like that. I'll read the story. I understand what's happened. I go to a reliable news source or whatever, get the information, but I am not interested in seeing someone getting done in the neck, stabbed or anything like that. My mates used to send them to me. My mate, you always used to send them to me. And I used to say, mate, stop sending me this fucking filth, mate. I don't want it. I'm not interested in this shit. For me, knowing the story's good enough, bud. However, most people ain't like that. Most people want to see it. And as you say, they start lusting after more then because you become desensitized, don't you?
Yeah.
It's not a matter of wanting to see it. It's being shoved in your face because you watching, I'm not being funny. 1 minute you're watching a dancing cat.
Yeah.
And your head off.
I had no choice. I had no choice with the Charlie Kirk thing. The first thing I do is turn my internet on, like, and have a look. And it's kind of like something that I've taken, like the top 5 stories of the day normally is what I go for, and then obviously this is top.
But was it on Twitter? You were saying on Twitter they show the whole lot.
On X, all I saw on X was the video where he's talking, and then you see the blood shoot out of his neck.
Well, that's the thing. I haven't seen that, but they've described it on BBC, but I haven't seen it, Brod. You know, luckily on the platforms I use on YouTube, they don't tend to show stuff like that. But I know there's this underbelly of everyone going, "Oh, have you seen it?" You know, when a footballer snaps his leg in half, there's always someone who's got an angle of it, a slow motion angle of it, and people want to see it. And you think, why do you want to see him get his leg snapped in half, man? He's having a proper bad time right now. His career's in jeopardy, and all you want to do now. But that's how people are, aren't they? People are cutthroat, Brod.
Well, going on about cutthroat. Moments after Charlie Kirk was shot, this happened, guys. It's not nothing extreme or anything like that, Nikki. So don't worry about that. But after that would be bad. After just what you said.
Yeah. So he's chucking the hats out.
So that guy jumped the barrier and started taking the hats and and people were shouting, "Give me a hat! Give me a hat!" He was stealing the hats.
What, the MAGA hats? Yeah,
the MAGA hats. Yeah. Fucking hell! Just straight after my man's just been carried off, they climbed.
No one cares. You know, the other half are probably filming around trying to find more blood or whatever, bro. You know what I mean?
They're going to investigate the guy because just as Charlie gets shot, some guy jumps up. Everyone ducks. This guy jumps up and he's like waving at the cameras, going, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." So he's definitely going to get investigated.
That's probably the one they arrested. That's probably the one they arrested, because they arrested somebody on the scene. Apparently, it was a guy in a blue shirt. This is how much it's all over the internet. This is, a guy in a blue shirt was arrested immediately, and this is the situation. But people were filming it, and I go back to this woman on the train. There were people on that train with her.
Yeah. Piers did go over this as well slightly, because he was talking about the woman on the train, and he did say he watched the whole thing, and he said himself that people could be forgiven for not understanding what's happened, because even, God rest her soul, Irina, I think, is it Irina? I think it's Irina. Irina. She is in shock. She don't even know what's happened. And to some people, it might have just looked like he patted her on the shoulder or bumped. No one knows what happens. And then obviously it did get and people did mention as well, it was a black person that did come to her aid first anyway, and there was a monster that got her phone out and decided to record the whole thing. But I think there's also an element of nowadays, especially, the guy's got a knife and he's dripping with blood. You're scared for your own life, and you're on a bus with the guy. The bus ain't stopped and he ain't got off. You're on a bus with a man that's just killed a poor girl. You might be forgiven for not wanting to put yourself,
So what are you supposed to do then? So what do they expect a man to do, right? So someone's getting a knife drilled into their body. Just because I've got a penis, now I've got to go and get involved and risk my life. This is what I don't get, because people don't understand, bruv. Like, when I was living in Cardiff, I've seen there was a guy fighting a girl. This guy tried to be the hero. He's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead now.
Yeah.
Because he tried to be the hero. He tried to stop this. So what do? Do you walk past? Do you be a man? Do you call the police? What do you do? What do you do?
You don't know. One thing for sure is no one knows what they're going to do until they're in that situation. And you're trapped on the bus with the guy.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
The bus is moving.
Dangerous.
You're on the bus with the guy. He's just killed someone. I think that the hero in me, maybe would want to try and help out in some way, but I don't know how. I can't say for sure how I would. The guy's what, 2, 3, 4 meters away from me with a knife in his hand, I've got a family to go home to as well.
This is what I mean. I've got nothing to lose, mate. So I would probably fight, but that's only because I've got nothing to lose. But if I had something to lose, like a family, no, I wouldn't get involved at all.
There's also that other question: where do you go? Do you stop him, or do you go to her?
Well, I'll be honest, Kitty. If he come for me, I think that's a definite answer. I know what I'd do. However, I'd be prepared to get cut if a man was coming for me with a knife. I'd be prepared to do anything I'd do it, whatever it took, right? Yep. Until I was either dead or someone, or he's not got a knife in his hand no longer. Yep. But it's like you're saying, it's when it's another person and you don't really know what's going on, like Brod's suggesting there. At what point do you sort of, when, like, where, what?
Are you willing? You're on the bus on your way, probably just finished a long day at work. Are you willing to put your life on the line that day, right now?
What I might do, Brod, is look at someone like you who's on the bus and go, try and say to you, me and you, stop this.
Yeah.
I don't know you, but I've look at you and I think, well, he looks like he's got a bit of a build over there. If me and him both went in there, we'd probably be able to stop this guy. Me and you, go. That's what I'd probably do.
But then you've got the question I'm asking is, so you've got
horrible, mate,
running around with a knife, but you've also got a woman that's bleeding to death. So what
do you do? Do you save her?
Which one is more important?
It's you put your hand over the thing or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I think I don't know, but because it's very easy for me to come out with some sort of heroic bullshit. But when someone pulls a knife out, when there's a reason everyone ducks when they hear a bang, there's a reason, because it's it's self-preservation first. You have to survive this, you have to feed your kids, you have to do this sort of stuff. But it's very difficult. But what this will lead us on to something else, another debate. It's came out this man has a mad rap sheet. It's came out that he suffers with extreme mental health. He's got he's psych. I think they said he's proper gone. Like, if he was in this country, he would be in a mental home, basically. His family pleaded way before this happened, pleaded with the police and the government to take this guy and put him in a home. But guess what, guys? Unless you've got money in America, you ain't shit. Unless you've got money, you can't afford to treat sick people. Like, you know, like I know this industry very well. I know there are people out there. I don't know if you lot have seen it walking out in public. There's someone walking out in public. I've got someone that walks around with 4 African men surrounding them because they need that level of support just in case if that person didn't have those 4 people guarding them. If we just said, right, you know, sod everyone. If you don't have money, you can't have any healthcare, and we just let mental health drop. People that bang their heads all day in a room, like, you know, if they didn't have nice carers from Africa and all over the other world coming over looking after them, they would be out on the streets like they are in America, just going in and out of prison and stabbing people, unfortunately. Like, you know, so when I hear people talking about, oh, America's the greatest country, you prioritize other nations' healthcare over your own. How can you be talking about this like, oh, yeah, you're amazing? Like, you know, just no way. It's BS.
I told you about my brother. My brother's got schizophrenia and
schizophrenia. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
10 years ago, he would have been that person. He would have been that person running around with a knife and doing, you know, and as many times as I went to the police, as many times as I went to try and get him help, there was no help. You couldn't do anything unless he hit or hurt somebody. Unfortunately, he went that far and attacked somebody, and it was at that moment he was in the system, and the moment he was in the system, he then spent 10 years in a psychiatric ward, and now he's medicated, and he knows that if he ever does anything again, he's straight back there, and they're still watching him. They refuse to take him off, the watch sort of thing. But like Brudsy said, we have that system. Imagine in America where if you've not got insurance, you've not you are just.
But our system's changing as well, Kitty, as well. It's not what it used to be. If you was to offer a doctor 2 different payments for the same treatment, right? So if you do this for the NHS, this operation for the NHS, we will pay you £1,500. If you do this privately, the same operation, we will give you £15,000. Which one?
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
Which one?
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so you can hardly blame. In America, again, remember what I said, the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, you've got doctors who are probably really keen when they were 19 years old, 20 years old, 21. How many times before you've looked at a little old lady's piles before you go, I'm sick to death of this job. I hate this job. You know? And then someone starts going to you, well, all right, you know, you're still NHS, you're an NHS doctor. However, you can work privately over here because a lot of them are working privately. We all understand this now, don't we? A lot of doctors work for both NHS and private, but they're picking the private work over the NHS. Why? Because the love of money. And can you blame them people? Can you blame them doctors for taking that?
The doctors that I know do. The doctors that I know do. They do work for the NHS, but they do their private work as well.
Which is where the money is, isn't it, Brad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you've got money, and even in England, if you've got money, I mean, I'm not going to slag off the NHS at all because we're bloody lucky, aren't we?
Mate,
if I fell down the stairs and I broke my leg, I'd be talking to you from hospital within 15 minutes. Kitty, Brad, guess where I am? Yeah. I've done my leg. You understand what I mean? However,
in America, they'd look at you.
That way.
In America, they'd look at you, and if you didn't have the right stuff, you'd get a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
you'd get a Band-Aid. Right. They have to patch you up, so to speak. You'd get a Band-Aid. No scan, no nothing. You get a Band-Aid. Like, you know, you break your arm. The saddest part is the biggest cause of bankruptcy is medical bills. Like, you know, people having, you know, who would thought having a kid should be having it, like your wife being pregnant would be so stressful in America. Like, you know, this is why they're not having kids. You have a kid, like you get a healthcare bill of like £15,000 or something stupid like that. It's something crazy. Like, you know, like, and I've spoken to Americans before, like on my Omegle TV interviews and stuff like that. And they say, I just love your healthcare, man. Your healthcare is amazing. But, you know, America's this great country.
It's going like that though, Brad. It will go like that. It will get to the point where the poorest people will only
that's when it's time to riot. That's when it's time to riot. The moment they try to take our healthcare off us, that's when it's time to riot. I
don't think they'll take it, Brad. I don't think they'll take it, but it will just become very, very, very poor quality compared to the people that pay from a private. And I think it will be related to the money that's coming into the doctors.
Yeah,
because they won't give a shit about the ones that are cheap.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And like you were saying, I mean, your family are work for the NHS.
Yeah, all their lives. Yeah.
you know, a cardiologist. I know for a fact he works damn hard for the NHS, and he's sorry about this, but my dog is hiding from
That's
the
all right.
thunder and lightning. He does the helicopter, you know, where he's the guy that they ring and say, right, we've got an emergency, we're picking you up, and he's the helicopter guy. So he does a lot. But I also know he charges £300 an hour to see people every 2 days of the week. And I'm like, £300 an hour? Because I said to him, to do me a prescription for that skinny drug. He went, yeah, come private. And I went, I'm not paying £300. Cheeky sod. Right? But you know, this is like you say, they get priority. That person that paid £300 will get his priority for that heart condition.
Yeah.
It's not, do you know, people think of
Almost the same system.
Yeah. Obviously, when you pay for a treatment, you pay for a doctor to come to your house. That's more expensive and stuff. But there are a lot of like my sister has private medical health care. And she pays like about £100 a month for it, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she tells me that it's quality. Like it's
brilliant.
decent quality. And so it's not like you don't have to be a millionaire to afford it. So there are things out there, but you know, it's just you got to go and
the thing, you've got mental health conditions, they won't give it you. If you go, it would be considerably. And did you know that you might know this because obviously you've dealt with this sort of thing, but if you've got mental health conditions, you can't really get life insurance unless you pay like over the top.
You won't get you won't get a good life
unlikely.
insurance for that. You won't get life, not a good one. You'll get like a very bog standard one where you have to wait 2 years before you can even claim for anything, sort of, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Having issues is not something that should be penalised. It should be helped. But then you got to take it from their point of view. If they took everybody with mental health conditions, and I get it, I see both sides, but it's just
Yeah, we started with Charlie Kirk. Let's end with Charlie Kirk. Final words, Nikki, from you on that.
Very sad, Brod, and very happy to be a part of this conversation with you and Kitty. It was very interesting. I've learned some bits and pieces today. It's been nice to get it off my chest. Good to catch up with you two again. Just very sad, man. Very sad. And I don't know what to say, man. Very sad.
Kitty?
You're allowed an opinion. You're allowed an opinion without being shot. And the only good thing to come out of this now, he leaves a legacy. I think he will be revered, possibly up with Martin Luther and Malcolm X, because he had an opinion like them. He had an opinion, and somebody didn't like it and took him away. I think that is the positive to come out of it. He leaves a legacy. My condolences to his wife and children, obviously, who were there. Heartbreaking. And you guys, stop celebrating it. Stop it.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, my thing is, just it's shocking, absolutely shocking. Unfortunately, guys, I have to say this. As much as Kitty said, you've got freedom of speech. Just be careful what you say. Yeah. And sometimes, it's difficult because this is what these guys do for a living. There's going to be a horrible backlash. America's unhinged. You've got people that are suffering, and they've got rifles that can kill you from a mile away. And what can I say? For me as an English person, just most English people are just like, why don't you just get rid of the guns? Why don't you just get with the long-scoped freaking guns that you can kill someone from a mile away or 200 yards away? They can't throw knives. They can't throw a knife 50 meters or whatever to get you. No one's getting done like that. It takes more. I would say it takes more if you're going to kill someone to kill them with a knife. Takes a bit more than shooting someone from 200 bloody meters away or 200 yards away. Any coward can do that. That's why I hate guns, to be honest with you. But guys, we'll end it there. Thank you very much for joining. I'll have to cut this show up because we went up, we went down, we went left, we went right, we went everywhere. But peace and love to everyone that joined us. Thanks for participating, guys. Facebook, sorry, I missed you guys. Way too much going on. Peace.
Can we do Ginger J tomorrow, Brad?
Yeah, we can.